Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today, we have an HH Scott. It's a PS-17A. If it looks familiar, it's because you can also buy this turntable under the Yamaha brand. I think the YPB4 is very similar to this turntable, and it was probably sold under numerous brands because this is a CEC manufactured table. It is very distinctive. It's got these round speed buttons here, reject. And if you want to see how to service one of these, you can search on my videos. I've got a lot of videos on CEC models and how to service them. That's not why we're here today. This is going to get a service because it's horrible. There's no oil left in the spindle, and it doesn't have a belt, so we're going to replace the belt on it. But why we're here today is for this reason, and I'll show you what it is. So if you notice the arm here, it has absolutely no silicone damping fluid left. So I get a lot of questions. How do I replace the silicone damping fluid? And I usually, point them to a couple of my videos where they do that. I thought I would just make a video that goes through how to do it. Now, obviously, your mileage is going to vary because you may have a completely different turntable. Now, I'm choosing CEC turntable because it's very common. There's a multitude of brands, Hitachi, Yamaha, Marantz, that all use CEC as their manufacturer, even though some Marantz fanboys will say, no, Marantz designed their own tables. Well, they may have, brought the specs up that they wanted, but I can guarantee you that they did not manufacture that in a Marantz factory. It was made by these guys. And which is a great thing because these guys made fantastic turntables. Not Scott, CEC. This one just happens to be branded as a Scott. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get this, flipped over, and we're going to go about how you replace the queuing fluid on a queuing lever that no longer has any. And as you can see, like this has nothing left at all. So why don't we get set up? I'm going to get this thing turned upside down, and let's, hang on, before I do that, I'm not sure if we can remove. Yeah, I think this one has to come out through the top, which is pretty common. Some will come out through the bottom. Some you can remove. Actually, this one you can remove. There's a screw over here. I'm going to get a look at it and see if we need to remove. There's a little side. Usually there's a screw here for height adjustment, but it also releases the queuing arm from the piston. Let's just let's have a look. Let me remove that. Take off this lid for a second. They're all going to be a little different. Yeah, so there's the screw. So this should pop right off now. There you go. So that's the arm, and then you can use that again to adjust your height. There's the little screw on the side that you just loosen. Don't lose that or you're screwed. Get it? Okay. Now we'll get this thing flipped over, get the base off, and get going on that. Okay. Welcome back. This is the area that we're going to be working in, and this setup is very similar to a YP211 I just did. It's identical. There's no difference. This one, they don't even hide the fact that that it's a different brand. This is a Yamaha. Underneath, it's a Yamaha YP211 with a smaller motor. The motor on this one is not as nice. So that's the differences. So Yamaha probably ordered, their best AC synchronous motor. And Scott probably said, yeah, we don't need as good of a motor. We just want, motor whatever. As you can see here, it's Fujiya Audio. So it depends on the company and who was ordering it at the time. Okay, I'm just looking here. Our piston is right under here. So to get at that piston, it looks like we're going to have to remove a few arms here, namely this one. This one is where the main micro switch is. And then there's this one, which is part of the auto return. And this is the actual queuing arm here. And that one probably needs to be just moved out of the way because there's a nasty spring under here that's a pain in the ass to remove. So I think we can just swing this out of the way. So it's just a matter of removing a whole bunch of clips here. So we'll start with this one. Oops. Can't do it with a Phillips. the flathead. So this is number 1. We'll just put these somewhere safe. And this one lifts up and out. And you have to be very careful here because the tone arm wires are attached. So you just want to lift this up. Just remember where the spring goes as well. And you just need to get that out of the way. Although there's no real good way to get it out of the way. We'll just leave it right there. Our second arm that we have to remove is this one. And again, we have another clip here. And then we just have to move it off the shaft. Like that. It's this little peg sticks down into the cam for the auto return. So we'll just set that aside. And we're almost there. Our piston is here. We're just going to move this one out of the side now. Now, the reason I'm not removing it is because of that spring. It's very difficult to put back on. So one more clip here. Just push this down. And we'll just slide this out as best as we can just to get the piston out of the way. Now, because I removed the top part, we're presented with our queuing piston. Now, there's nothing left on here. It's all leaked out. And that's why the queuing is not working. Now, I've done this in the past where I've pulled it out through the top. If you're going to pull it out through the top, you have to remove this clip and this plastic washer, and then it'll come out through the top and remove the spring. It's easier to pull it out the bottom, as you can just see, and just remove that the queuing arm itself. Okay. Now, you don't have to clean this. You can if you want. It's just silicone grease. That's all it's in there. And we're going to replace that. Here's the grease from using. Okay. Silicone damping fluid. This one is 300,000 CST. You can Google that as to where you can pick it up on the net. I bought this about, I don't know, 15 years ago. I do a lot of queuing, damping repairs, and I don't think I've gotten through 1/10 of it yet. So this is the spot here that you want to replace the grease. There's a little indentation. Just flow it in there. Okay, and you can put a little bit on this part as well, just for good measure. And then we'll get rid of our grease. We'll put that away. And you just basically drop it back into the slot. And that's it. Okay. Now, we're going to reattach this. We're going to put our clip back on. Now, again, your turntable is going to be different. It may be more complicated. Some techniques are a real pain in the butt to do. You know, the more manual the turntable is, the easier it's going to be. Now, if you've got a fully automatic turntable, this is an auto return, so a semi-automatic, you're going to have more gears and crap all over the place. You get into something like a Pioneer PL 570, you could be working forever just to dismantle it, to get at the parts you need to get at. Okay, so we'll just push our piston down again. And we'll get this one in now. Get that into place. Oh, look at that. Put it in upside down. The professional. Okay, there we go. This one's in place now. And this one has, actually, it's kind of odd. This one has a lot of the old silicone grease on it. And it's nowhere near the old piston. What happens is, as it leaked, it got on here and just leaked all the way down. Just gravity. Okay, we'll put our second clip back on now. missing my needle nose that are angled. I really am missing those. I don't know where the hell I put those. Okay, and now we can finally swing this back into position. Now you have to remember that this one, the spring needs to be loaded. It needs to be loaded against this post here, but it has to go under as well. There we go. And it just sits right there. And you just want it so it springs back, because when the arm moves out, this is going to swing, right? So you definitely have to make sure that that spring is loaded. And I don't think I've loaded it. I have not. Come on, baby, get in there. There we go. Now it's loaded. Okay, good. And finally, put back your last clip. And I believe we are done, except for the queuing arm. So I'm just gonna, ooh, look at this, belt death. Yuck, gross. I'm not gonna put anything back because I have to service this table fully. But I just want to show you how we're working now. Okay, we'll just tighten this. I don't know where the perfect position for this is yet for queuing height. I'll adjust that once the table is completely serviced. I'll just screw this back onto the post just to give you an idea how we're operating now. Okay, so now watch the drop. There we go. All fixed. Want to come down and see that? Okay, ready? And down. It'll take a couple times to distribute that oil properly. Look at that, eh? Nice and slow. It's nice going up as well. So where you want it on the height adjustment, I mean, it looks good there. You might want it a little bit higher. You want it so it clears the queuing rest where it comes back. So this one just might be just a smidge low. So I'll adjust the screw on the queuing arm, which is right there. You can see it until I get the correct height. But that is how you replace the silicone damping fluid on a turntable. Again, it's going to vary for different turntables, but that gives you a really good idea of what needs to be done. I do have other videos. You can go to my main page and search queuing, and you can see I've done a lot of turntables on there. I've done Techniques, I've done Yamaha, which is probably very similar to this one, and a few others. So by all means, search down there, and hopefully your turntable shows up. But in the meantime, that's it for this week. We will catch you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.